welcome everybody. That was so fucking cringe. Okay, cool, David. That's who's joining me this week. It's like the fifth time I've tried starting this podcast episode. It's always so awkward. I don't know how to start it because
to be honest, it is awkward to do it. Like it's just awkward. Like how do you introduce it?
Yeah, well, you guys listening, all three of you, you're not going to hear how I started it before. But it's like my default is just like, oh, welcome everybody to another episode. And it's just like,
golly whiz.
What the fuck am I saying? Okay, cool. Well, in today's episode of Last Week in Gaming Today, usually, I guess we're still trying to figure out what the fuck it is that we do here. But usually what we do is we cover what games are coming out, also what's hip and happening in gaming news, and then and then we usually pick a topic of what we want to talk about for the week.
Yeah.
And in this week in particular, I wanted to discuss RPGs, or more specifically, how long should they be? We put a poll out on the channel in the community tab, and I'm just curious as to what people think the optimal length of an RPG should be. And obviously, if you've got any examples or ideas of one, like, you know, for example, there could be an open world game, so you might think it should be longer. Like, I'm curious to explore that and really dig through that with you, cool David, who was replacing normal David this week.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, as always, at the end, we'll also go through what we've been playing this week. So, let's start with the news. Well, actually, no, sorry. I guess what we did last week, what I did last week with David, is we go through the releases and the news. And I'm going to be honest, this is going to be a really fucking short segment because do you recall me saying last week that, David, even though this is like a really small week, there's still so many things that I need to cover, or, you know, there's like at least like 10, 20 games listed.
Yeah, exactly.
That week has nothing on this. There's basically 2 releases this week. There's only 2 things for me to go through. So the first one is the Echo Paradox. So both of these games, by the way, that I'm about to talk about, they have come out today at the time of recording. The first one, the Echo Paradox, so that's on Steam. This kind of reminds me, it's like a flashlight horror game, but it's like with an alien twist. It reminds me so much of kind of the aesthetic. I wouldn't say the aesthetic of Outlast, but I guess that's just kind of what like the camcorder / like the flashlight aesthetic kind of reminded me of. I actually wouldn't mind playing this one with you if you get some time this week, because it looks really cool. And the other one is Mecha Break. I don't know if you recall seeing that.
No, I don't actually. What's that one?
I think it was announced in the Game Awards. Basically, it's like Transformers meets fucking Gundam, like fighting each other on this, like, you know, it's kind of like you're roaming around in a Gundam fighter on this like miniaturized world kind of thing, and you're just dueling it out with other mechs. So that looks interesting. That's going to be on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and that's it.
Wow.
I mean,
Big
I
list.
think there's a couple of games like say Diablo 4 that have like Season 9 coming out, or, you know, like a title update for Monster Hunter Worlds, I believe. But outside of that, it's fucking crickets this week.
Crickets this week. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, you know, 2 new releases.
What about you?
I'm so glad you asked me. Now, obviously, last week we obviously had it was a quiet week in gaming news. Nothing to report. I pretty much jinxed myself because this week it's just been crickets. There has not been a single relevant piece of gaming news that has come out this week that has been noteworthy.
Yeah, so literally the same thing as
literally it's been a quiet week. I've been going up to obviously the gaming section and be like, please sir, can I have some more? just a tiny little peasant. And yeah, there's nothing, not even a scrap of like interesting news that obviously we can discuss, which, you know, it happens. There's going to be periods where literally there's nothing newsworthy to report at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I find it interesting because, again, I think one of the things I said last week was, you know, back in the day, maybe like 10 years ago, like the PS3, Xbox 360 era, or even Xbox One or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, you'd have your major titles, but there wouldn't really be as many like indie games or all these like, I feel like there's so many games, a flood of games that are being released like all the time. And I was just really caught off guard by how there was just sweet fuck all this week. So, I mean, I guess consider this week an easy one for us. And just get straight into
it was a tough gig for our journalism right there, you know.
God, I would not fucking call what we're doing journalism.
What would you call it? You put me on the
cool
spot.
David says that it's cool. David calls this enthusiasm, not journalism.
Take that, IGN. You ain't got nothing on us.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for sharing all that news. I think let's just get stuck into talking about RPGs. I was thinking about this throughout the week. How long should an RPG be? And I feel like there's so many little like asterisks to that
variables,
question, I guess.
Yeah,
because maybe I started thinking about it because I've been playing, just trying to power through Borderlands recently because it's been, it's been interesting. And I think I finally started hitting that level of fatigue, and I was just like, oh, fuck. Like, I want to move on to something else, but I do just kind of want to finish these games. And it just started feeling like these games, like, while playing them singularly, they have a really good pace, as in, you know, maybe 30 to 40 hours, I think, depending on like how much you're doing side quests and stuff. But yeah, it got me thinking, like, for you, Cool David, what do you think a good length of an RPG generally is? Let's just start with that.
What you were saying before, it goes down to the variables. It depends, you know, what kind of RPG you're playing. Is it an open world? Is it a linear kind of one? Is it a hybrid version? And depends on obviously what subgenre that you have will obviously depend on what my answer is. An example, I think if it's an open world RPG, like an example, you know, The Witcher, Skyrim, Oblivion, any of the Fallout games, I reckon 40 to 50 hours it should be minimum for an open world RPG.
So that's the minimum.
No, so not the minimum. I would say that's the right length. Sorry, the right length, because there have been some RPGs that I've played that have just overstayed their welcome. One of the ones that comes to my mind is Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I sunk so many. Oh,
dude, I was about to say Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Like, it's basically the same, right?
The same. Basically, to be honest, Odyssey were like a really good RPG, but there are just some missions that just you require to grind up your level.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, what are we doing here, right? I'm meant to be a Greek Spartan that has a spear that can do anything. Why am I still doing this grinding missions that can just exhaust you, just make you feel incredibly tired? So I think
it's to immerse you in the open world.
No. It's designed so I can buy the time savers, because you're like, hey, instead of grinding for RPG, how about
hate that shit.
How about you buy this $15 pack where you get double the money and double the XP? No, I shouldn't have to do that for an RPG.
No, well, to be fair though, I feel like with that started happening in Odyssey, didn't it? Or was that Origins?
I think it was Origins.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like the length of Origins was way better though. Like, I prefer Origins than Odyssey, I think. But it's very clear that those games are designed to be that long though, so that way they can try and hopefully get money from the other end.
Yeah, true.
So, because how many hours is Odyssey, you reckon?
Oh, I think it's like over 60 to 70 hours. It is just ridiculously long. And while, yes, I did enjoy it, it just at some point, so I'm just like, can we wrap this up?
So when you say though, like say like 60, 70 hours, is that just focusing on the story, or is that also doing like side quests and
That's
all
also
the content that there is on offer?
I would say it's probably doing side quests with it as well, because you
Yeah.
have to do the side quests to level up your character so they can do some of the main missions. Like you have to do it, because some of the main missions can be like, oh, your level's too low, and then you just try to do it and you get absolutely destroyed by the enemy.
Yeah. Well, that's something that I guess I was thinking about. I'm gonna just FYI, I'm probably going to use Borderlands a lot as an example in this episode, because it's just what I've been playing lately. But one thing I do like about Borderlands is that, yes, you basically do have to do all these side quests to be able to be at like an appropriate level to complete the story. But if you wanted to, you could just do the story. It's just going to be harder.
Yeah.
I can't fucking stand, and I think Assassin's Creed does this, where they level gate. You can't access a mission until you've reached a certain level, and you can't access that level by just doing the story, so you have to do side quests. And like I'm a completionist when it comes to quests. If I see a quest, I don't know about you, I'm curious to hear your thoughts, but when I see a quest pop up and then I see all the side quests, I have to do the side quest first. But what about you?
No, I love doing side quests. I think the one thing about side quests is that they should feel optional. Like the game should be designed where you can play the main story, but you're gonna miss out on all these side quests. It shouldn't be designed where if you don't do the side quests, you're gonna be level gated and you can't continue with the main story. I feel like that's just poorly designed in relation to an RPG aspect. But yeah, definitely love doing those side quests when I can.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but I also do kind of like it when if you do a side quest, you get something really cool from it, and it's like game changing, or if there's like a story element that you wouldn't otherwise get from a main, again, Borderlands. But there's this stupid little side quest where you have to like go and ask Claptrap something in Borderlands 2, and it's in Sanctuary, and it's not a main quest, it's just off to the side. And if you talk to him, you'll end up getting access to the stash, which means that you can share weapons between all of your different player characters.
Okay.
But I had this moment of realization where this is like a core feature of a game, but it's locked behind a side quest. And I wonder, if I didn't do the side quests, can I actually share these weapons between all my characters? So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting. I wonder if it is locked behind that side quest, which would be which is kind of.
I was going to look it up, but I just completely fucking forgot. But I do like stuff like that. But then I guess on the flip side, if you are just kind of trying to play through something just to play the story and experience the story, then if you miss out on that stuff, you'd probably feel, I don't know, cheated. But I don't know. Going back to what we were talking about though, like I guess just the original question of how long should it be?
Yeah.
Obviously, with an asterisk, I think it depends on what type of RPG it is.
Correct. Yeah.
I think for me, the ideal length is probably, I'd say 50 hours. Like 50 hours is ideal because I like to play RPGs where there's skill trees, proper development, like you're taking your character on a journey. Anything shorter, I'm thinking like the Mass Effect series.
Yes,
to me, those games are like maybe like 20, 25 hours, maybe 30. But with those ones, obviously there's side quests in there and stuff like that, but you're kind of just focusing on trying to get from point A to point B, finish the story, and just enjoy the experience of the story. Yeah. But then there's RPGs like Witcher 3 where it's very story focused and world focused, but you're still kind of just playing that for the story, but the side quests are also the story. So it's just, I don't know, it's interesting how I guess that ideal number could change. But I think if I was to average it out, I would say probably around 50.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought up the Mass Effect series, because I love the Mass Effect series. I think it's one of the best, linear, I guess you could say hybrid RPGs that you can play out there. I think it was like at peak what BioWare were doing. It was peak BioWare, and I think it was a very good length. It was around 20 to 25 hours, and I think when the RPG is more linear like that, another example is Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Oh, I've never played that. I've always wanted to though.
Oh, dude, that's a phenomenal game as well.
Yeah.
When when they're set like that, where obviously it's more obviously linear path, but has RPG elements,
Yeah.
it's perfect. Because
Okay.
essentially it knows what it is you're following to get to the end game for this goal. While The Witcher 3 has over, with its DLC, I think it's like over 100 plus hours. But the beautiful thing about the Witcher 3 is, and I think this is like a testament to like if it's an amazing RPG, which The Witcher 3 is it doesn't matter how long you play it, it doesn't feel like a chore to play. It could be over like 100 hours, but you just enjoy that world building, those side quests, the gameplay mechanics, the just everything, that whole package. You could it could feel like 100 hours, but to you it would feel like you're just playing it for like the first time again.
Yeah. Interesting that you say that, because I was just thinking in my mind, I guess the difference between I feel like you'd probably only get this with open worlds, but how much fatigue you feel with playing a game would really come down to the world, I think. Obviously the quests and the characters and the combat, like there's all these different layers, but you know, the open world in Skyrim is completely different than the open world in The Witcher.
Exactly.
But I would say that I could also see myself playing, say, Skyrim a lot longer than The Witcher, and I feel like it's because your interaction with the world is completely different.
Yeah, and I think that's just a testament to obviously just those Bethesda RPGs, because I could literally boot up Skyrim right now and just play it and get lost in it every time again and again, because it just has that really fantastic replayability, I reckon. Well, there was a lot of RPGs. Where I go back to Odyssey, where it's like a one and done. Like you would play it and just never go back to it because it just felt like a chore to play. Where like it's like, you know, Skyrim or The Witcher, I would happily just love to replay it anytime I can.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree. I feel like when it comes to games, like I'll just keep using Witcher because we've been talking about it. I feel like that is a game that's so dense that if I take too long in between playing it, so girthy, so big.
Long.
I'm choking over it. But I think that
want to play some Gwent?
Dude, okay, quick tangent. I love in-game Gwent.
I love in-game
so much. Like it's like one of the only in-game games that I truly love.
Preach it. I love that side game. Not that mini game.
But I hated the individual Gwent game that came out separately. I felt
preach it.
I felt like they just did too much with it. And it was just its simplicity in Witcher 3. It was just perfect. It was just perfect the way it was. They shouldn't have added all this random shit. I mean, I understand why they would have done it to make it more competitive and get like a
following, I guess.
A following or a community behind it, I guess. But yeah, I think that they had it perfect in Witcher 3. And it goes to show how much thought and care would have went into the design or just creating that shit to make sure that Gwent is so... Like, I would actively, whenever I go to like a new area... The first quest that I would complete would be finding the new cards, so that way I could get a fucking killer deck.
My favorite part of The Witcher is when like a character like tells you like a deepest, darkest secret, and then one of the responses is like, "How about a round of Gwent?" Like this guy's like, "My whole family is dead," and how about a round of Gwent? Take it off your mind. I need that card.
How has that not become? That's good meme template potential, I reckon. Like, just something fucking crazy in the world happens. It's just like, Trump raised 125% tariffs. Oh, that sucks. But how about a game of Gwent? Okay, so I guess. So sorry. So I said that the ideal length for me is about 50 hours.
Yeah.
With an asterisk. What did you say yours was again?
I was around the 40 to 60 hour mark, so we're very similar.
Okay. Yeah. Do you, as you're getting older, do you find that you're leaning more towards more linear or hybrid focused RPGs rather than open world, or because I feel like when I was younger, I got a lot more excited about the idea of an open world. I'm like, oh my god, there's so many places we can go.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like, I don't really care. Like, I just want to play a good game. So I probably feel like I lean more towards that linear or hybrid now. So I'm just curious if you feel the same.
Yeah, I tend to I have to agree with you. I think now more that obviously, back when we were kids, we just had all the time in the world. So starting like a brand new like RPG just felt amazing to do because we could just get lost in that world. But just now, obviously being a little bit older, being more mature, I just find it a little bit more difficult just to sink my teeth into like a massive open world RPG. I do lean more to obviously that hybrid linear kind of RPG, or even oh my god, am I blanking on it right now? Indie RPGs like Stardew Valley or Undertale, where like they're just like perfect bite-sized ones. Because that's what I feel like I'm just more drawn to, where I can just switch off and not actually have to put so much thought effort into. I have to I'm the chosen one again. You know what I mean?
No, I absolutely. I think again, I think it really does just it depends on what the actual genre, well, not genre, but what the actual game and the mechanic is. But I think that if you can tell a really good story or you have a really good gameplay loop, like I think it's important to have a really good story in an RPG. That's 100%. Kind of what the RPG is built around. So I'm not saying anything brave here, but I think that if the gameplay loop is incredible, and you're like really invested in like building up your skill tree or whatever the fuck, I think that is when designing a game that's more on the longer side is really good. Just going back to the example of Borderlands, so the max level is like, I think depending on which one you play, it's either number? Like it's like 68, and then some of them, I think there was 72 for the longest time, and then I think they got increased to 80. And if you play through a story once and you try and complete as many side quests as you can, I think typically you'd be around like level 30, 35 by the end of the game. So to be able to get to like that max level, you basically have to play the game twice, which is like, I don't like that. I think if they could try and pace it, I like the idea. Like, okay, if you can play from start to finish an RPG, try and complete as much as you can, I don't think you should be able to maybe hit your max level. I think whatever the max level is, I think to reach that, you have to really try to reach that. But I think you should at least hit like 75 or 80% if you're doing everything. So that way you can experience a skill tree like to most of its potential throughout a game. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I 100% agree. The one example I can obviously put for that is Elden Ring. To me, I think Elden Ring is one of the best RPGs ever made. You can literally do a first playthrough of it, level up your character ridiculously high, and then start a new game plus, and obviously do it completely differently by obviously respecing your character or going out and obviously trying to beat the new game plus like 4 or 5 times, where the enemies are just ridiculously more harder to do. And love that game. I think Elden Ring just is, dude. Let's
talk about it for a bit. Because I love Elden Ring.
Love Elden Ring.
So does everyone else.
Miyazaki, give me more.
You son of a bitch! You done it again. Okay, so when I first played that game, it was absolutely. I think it ruined RPGs for me. In a way, it sounds. Hot take. This ruined RPGs for me. You know the meme of Martin Scorsese, and he's like, absolute cinema. Like, yeah. So it changed the way I think about RPGs in the sense that up until I played it, I thought, okay, RPGs, they're meant to have like the compass at the top and basically like Skyrim or Assassin's Creed. And I was like, okay, go to the waypoint. have full visibility of everything, and I don't need to think about the story and all that stuff.
Take out the dungeon, get the items.
Yeah, and this is the first one where I had no idea what the story was, and I wasn't paying attention initially, and to be fair, this is going to be maybe a bit of a unique experience, but I played it when it first came out, and the thing that was so great about playing it when it first came out is that there wasn't this oversaturation of all these videos and like how to do everything. So you kind of just had to figure shit out on your own. And I really appreciated that. I mean, obviously you can do that if you exercise some self-restraint, but who are we kidding? I'm not going to do that.
What are we?
Yeah, what are we? Some kind of Elden Ring player? But I think that it's really tough, man, to go back to a normal RPG after that, because not everything is on like a wayfind. On a compass, you kind of just like look it up in the sky or whatever, and you're like, oh, where is this? And then the design, like the HUD is so minimal and stripped back. There's no there's no actual formal like quest log or anything.
No.
It's just completely revolutionary to me that something like that actually works. And the way you're interacting in the world, with the world, is that you're just trying to find, okay, I'm just going to go over here because I've got no idea what's over here, but I think that this is like a good place to go. And it means that the first playthrough you have versus the second playthrough is completely different.
Yeah.
Because the second playthrough, you're a bit more educated and you know exactly kind of where everything is or what you did the first time around. And then you find something new and you're like, oh my God, I didn't know that this was here this whole time. And I just think it's just so incredible, like having to actually be able to think and actually have to be aware of your surroundings or trying to listen to see if you're hearing someone calling out to you. And fuck, man, it's just so good.
Dude, 100% agree. Like that Elden Ring, I would say, was probably the most magical experience I ever had in a video game in a long time. I remember not seeing anything about it. I didn't look at trailers, didn't see anything. And then it got released on Steam and I saw that it just had overwhelming positive reviews. So I just bought it. I bought it like day one full price because I'm like, okay, it's a Soulsborne game. Like, how good could it be? And then this was around the time the Brisbane floods happened. And where I was in my local area, I got flooded.
This was all I was doing.
I got flooded in, so I couldn't go to work. I couldn't work from home because my internet was going up and down. So I just played it, and it was just magical. Just how like there's no compass to tell you where to go. There's no like, hey, you have to like talk to this person to get this, get that. Like, it wasn't anything like that. It just let you be free, go explore. Figure out your own play style, how you like to play. And it really did reward you for being curious and being obviously going off the beaten path. Because I remember like, hey, where's this elevator go down to? And then it took me down to this whole entire underground network.
It just goes for like 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, and I was like, holy crap, how did I even find this? Because it was just so off the beaten path. And then I spent the next like 10 to like 6 to 8 hours just underneath there, just going through it. I'm like, what is this place? And then you find like your secret bosses and all these cool items, and the world just it is so beautifully crafted. It just sucks you in. You don't know nothing. You just like, I need to become the Elden Lord. I'm a tarnished. That's all you're given.
Yeah, and it's fucking awesome.
It is fucking incredible. Good. And I don't know if we're ever going to get another game like that for maybe like another 5 or 10 years.
See,
that's what breaks
I don't
my
know.
heart.
I don't know about you. So, fuck, man, really going into a tangent here. But have you had those games where you play it and it's like all you can think about for like a week or two? Like you go to bed thinking about it, and you're like, I can't wait to wake up and then start playing it again because it's that fucking good.
Yeah, 100%. I didn't have that feeling until I started playing Elden Ring, and that was a lost feeling for mine because I would go to bed be like, do I really need sleep? Do I really need to go to sleep?
Do I really need to go to work?
Yeah, do I? Well, I couldn't.
Do I really need to pay rent?
Yeah. Do I really need to have a social life? Like that was literally just me in bed. Like, man, I could probably do another 4 or 5 hours of this and not get bored.
Fucking oath. I think I've only had this feeling 4 times.
Oh,
So,
okay.
first time ever. This is going to sound so lame. Remember Adventure Quest?
Adventure Quest.
It was like the online browser, like RPG.
Oh yeah. That's a core
Yeah,
memory.
yeah,
I remember that.
yeah. So I played. I couldn't really get into it because it was like the whole MS Paint thing. But they released one where it was like an MMO version called Adventure Quest Worlds, and I started playing that into like 2008, and because my internet was so like too slow and too shit to run anything back then, like World of Warcraft, I couldn't play anything like that, and also like my really shitty Windows Vista computer just couldn't handle something like World of Warcraft.
Shout out to Vista.
Yeah, but so I had that excited feeling about Adventure Quest Worlds. I had that feeling about Minecraft when it first came out because I started playing it when it was like I think it was like the alpha version or something like that, where the tech everything just looked so shit. I had that with Skyrim when that came out because that was actually my first Bethesda game that I played.
Right.
No, sorry, I tried playing Oblivion, but I fucking hated it.
Dude, it's a learning curve, that one.
Yeah, well, I went back to Oblivion with this remaster. And I love it.
Yeah.
And I think in hindsight, it actually does a few things better than Skyrim.
100%.
Yeah, but then obviously there's Elden Ring, and I had it again, and it was so nice because like I haven't had that feeling for like over, well, I think it was about a decade between Skyrim and Elden Ring, and it's just so good to have that feeling again. One thing though, I'll just quickly say this because speaking of Skyrim and Elden Ring, they both, what I find interesting is that they both really promote and encourage you to play the way you want.
Yeah.
But I think that both of them mean completely different things. In the context of Skyrim, you play the way you want, but every play style that you have, you are roughly just as there's like no consequences. It's like you know, whether you're an archer, whether you're a mage or whatever. Yes. You know, I never played Stealth Archer until like just a couple of years ago, and I'm like, I see what the hype is about now.
You've been missing out.
I was always a
What was that noise?
restoration one hand. Huh?
What was that noise? Must have been the wind.
I was like, did I say something? Did I do something? Anyway. No, I was always like restoration one hand and like a one-handed sword the other. That was like the only way I'd play. No, but like there's basically like fuck all consequences with Skyrim. It's like if you're, you know, you can't pick wrong. Everything's good. But with Elden Ring, you can definitely pick fucking wrong. You can build your class or whatever like a certain way, and it's a steep learning curve. Like you will get your ass handed to you, and the benefit is you can go to like an older area or a different area and just kind of, you know, brush up your levels or whatever. But it's just two completely different experiences, and one is way more satisfying than the other, I think.
100% agree. I wonder how many people just gave up Elden Ring because they couldn't get past the Tree Sentinel, even though that's like an optional boss.
Yeah, well, I dodged the Tree Sentinel and I went straight to that, I don't know, I guess that first little camp area where like I forget what they're called, like Godric's men are, or not Godric, but you know those guys. Yeah, and I just kept trying to farm those guys for a bit because I was always too scared. Because it was like my first proper like Souls game, and like I know notoriously you can die in like one hit. So I kept trying to train them, and I just kept like leveling up my health, which I think is like a mistake apparently. Because it was my strength or whatever. Because like even though I was technically doing a little bit more damage to them, I wasn't able to increase my stats enough so I can actually equip way better weapons and armor. So yeah, I just think it's really fascinating.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And I was different. I went for him straight up. It took me a while, but it's just different play styles, and that's
that is a maddening. I'd imagine that'd be a maddening experience.
Oh, it was, but when you finally beat him, it's like the best thing in the world. You're like, yes, I finally
pure
did
ecstasy.
It. Pure ecstasy, and this is obviously when we take it back to obviously, you know, what's the good length of an RPG? Elden Ring is such a big game. It is honestly such a massive, vast, expansive game. Even with the DLC with it now, that you could play it for hundreds of hours, and it will be the perfect length for you because it is just that good. It doesn't feel like a chore to play. You will lose yourself in that game.
No, absolutely. So I guess just springing on to, or trying to circle back to, I guess, the conversation of like length around
More of a girth,
an
man.
RPG or what. That's what we're learning here in this conversation.
Cool.
It's not about the length of the game; it's the girth.
Cool David's a girth kind of guy.
I like that about Cool David. So let's talk about combat, or I guess leveling in general. So actually, we'll talk about that, but I guess as a follow-up question. So when it comes to like skill trees, leveling up and such, I can't fucking stand when there's skill trees where it's like you level up a skill by a certain percent. Like I can't stand that shit. Just give me like a new ability or give me like something. Each time I level, I don't want to like level up 5 times to like eventually get something. Oh, your attack has increased by 25%. It's like that feels pitiful. I like skill trees that give you new abilities or allow you to access things more.
Yeah.
So I guess like to a certain degree, I want there to be really meaningful progression, but I know that there are some games out there where it more focuses just on increase this one ability by a certain percent or whatever. Like, what do you think about all that stuff?
I definitely want to play an RPG where if I'm going to be sinking my time and energy into this world, into your game, that if I were to level up, I want to feel like the difference in level is a major impact. I want to feel like that I've been working on this one thing and like I've strengthened up to be a bit stronger to take down this one boss or to take down this one enemy that used to give me heaps of a headache when I was low level. One, obviously the one that I like the most, that I probably refer back to is probably New Vegas, where you can level up obviously your different points, but it gives you like a perk that you can use. An example, the bloody mess perk. It's one of my favorite perks in the Fallout series, where essentially you have a percentage chance where you use your VATS, and when you shoot off a limb, somehow the rest of the limbs explode.
That's so sick.
It's gory. It's funny. Like you shoot this guy's leg, and then like for some reason his whole entire body just explodes, just bits falling everywhere. But
that's so cool.
I do hate RPGs. I think where obviously where you grind and you just still feel like you're weak, essentially.
Well, I think it's not even just the feeling of feeling weak. I just kind of can't stand. So I'm going through this process of like leveling and putting all these points towards a certain skill tree, but I don't feel like I'm seeing that much of a difference in game. So it's like it's hard because it's like you're increasing your levels, enemies are usually increasing their levels as well. So how are you meant to really see a difference?
Yeah, true. That's true, but that's just obviously down to the game design, I would guess.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It depends on obviously like one of the worst ones is Odyssey. Like you get this massive skill tree of all these unique abilities, and you just face an enemy that's like, I'm going to Sparta kick this guy, and you kick him and he just doesn't fall down. You're like, why did I get the Sparta kick then? And you can argue me like, oh, you just got to level up a bit higher, but I'm like, it's just I want to feel like I'm a strong man. I'm a big boy.
Well, that kind of made me think of something actually. So usually with skill trees or leveling up, usually the really, really cool abilities are like right at the end. And you have to grind to get there.
Yeah.
But by the time you get there, it's like this is the thing I was gunning for and now I've got it. What do I do? I'm probably just going to stop playing and play another game. So it's like you don't even like properly get to utilize it.
I won, but at what cost?
Yeah. Oh fuck. But yeah, I don't know. I don't. I think the general consensus from our conversation is that, if you average it out, probably a good RPG length is like maybe 50 hours, 50 hours.
Yeah.
If it's open world, depending on the open world, it really determines how long you can stay in that game. Like apparently, like Skyrim's meant to be a 200-hour game. I believe it, and I could probably spend almost 200 hours in that game, but I definitely couldn't do that with Witcher 3.
That's fair enough.
Know.
And obviously, we haven't talked about MMORPGs like World of Warcraft, because to me, that's like another can of worms. They don't have a length. Yeah. They're just infinite. No. They're just infinite. They're just like, oh, you pay a subscription, you're gonna sub for life because we're never gonna stop churning this wheel because we know you're gonna keep coming back. We know.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's also because it's a social thing. It's like you're hanging out with people, and I don't know. I just think that's a whole other can of worms. Maybe we'll talk about it one day. I mean, I really want to get into a MMO, but I just
where do you start? I just don't have the energy. What do you mean?
I tried getting into ESO, and that one was I just couldn't get into it too much.
I couldn't.
I was into Destiny for a bit though. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I played a lot of Destiny 1, and then I tried to play Destiny 2, and I just couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. Wasn't my cup of tea.
Nah. And one other thing that we touched on, I guess, is how if it's more of a linear experience, and maybe it's preferable that an RPG could be more like, like 20, 30 hours.
Yeah, 20 to 30 hours, I would say that's a sweet spot because it's not open world, so there's no point. It should be longer than that.
Yeah, I think as I'm getting older, I like the feeling of completing a game. Sometimes I hate having a play session. That sounds weird, but like having a session where I'm just playing through a game that's started to become kind of stale because they've just padded it out. And I'm just, in my head, I'm like, I know that I'm just playing this so I can finish, like just be done with this game and uninstall it and move on. So
it overstayed its welcome, you should have done like 3 hours ago.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I'm feeling about Borderlands at the moment. But
it's just
yeah. But I mean, I think that's pretty much it from my end. Do you have anything else that you wanted to add?
No. Like, obviously, love to, for the 3 people listening at home or wherever you are in the world, love to hear your thoughts on what you think your perfect length RPG is, and what's your favorite one, I guess. Like, were you a Skyrim, Oblivion, Witcher, Elden Ring kind of person? Love to hear their thoughts for the 3 people.
Absolutely. While you're just give me 2 seconds. I'm just quickly looking up on our poll. I want to see.
Oh yes,
what people
I actually do
voted.
have it here. I do have it here.
Oh, perfect. Well, what's the percentages?
Right. So, what is the perfect length for an RPG? At 20 hours, we have 6%.
Oh wow!
50 hours, we have a massive 67%. For 100 hours, we have 22%. And surprisingly, this one actually surprised 200 plus hours is at 6%. So it looks like we've got 2 people on opposite sides of the spectrum. Some like it less than 20 hours, or 20 hours less, and some like 200 plus, and it's both 6%.
That's interesting. I thought 20 would have been higher. I think the only thing that I can think of with that is that maybe people want to feel that certain level of investment. Like, if they're going to invest their time in an RPG, they want it to be worth it. So, if you play for longer, there's more perceived value, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the person and obviously how much time they want to sink into it, I guess.
Yeah. Absolutely fascinating. Cool, David. Thank you. I think maybe each week we might try and do a poll so that way we have kind of like a community engagement. I think that'd be really cool.
Cool,
just to ahead of our podcast. But cool. Yeah. All right. Well, that's been the RPG discussion, as David said before, or Cool David. If you've got your perspective on how long an RPG should be, let us know down in the comments. But moving on to the most important segment of the week,
I've been waiting for this.
I want you to tell me what you've been playing, David.
After, ironically, like 40 plus hours, I finally beat Death Stranding 1.
Hell yes!
Hallelujah.
It's like been what, like 4 weeks in the making?
Yeah, it pretty much has been. Welcome to adulthood, people. So I have now graciously moved over to Death Stranding 2 on the beach.
How far would you say that you're into that game?
So there's a tutorial part. The tutorial part set in Mexico, and then you get to the main game when you get to Australia. So I've actually now reached Australia.
That's cool. Apparently, it's like nothing like Australia. It's like a fantasy fictionalized version of Australia, but I just think
I was like, there's no bolos
it's
anywhere.
so
Where are the
fucking cool.
bolos?
Yeah. Where's Paul Hogan? Where's the Wolverine? Where's Hugh Jackman?
That's not a knife. This is a knife. To me, people have been comparing it to Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain, and I can see that comparison when I'm playing this. I'm like, dude, am I Naked Snake? Am I Venom Snake? No, I'm Venom Redus.
I keep seeing TikToks about whoever the character is that Troy Baker is playing and how he's just like shredding everywhere he's going.
I haven't. I haven't got to that part yet.
Yeah.
Thanks for spoiling it.
Oh, fuck off! It's the trailers.
I didn't watch the trailers.
Oh, fuck you. Anyway, I also bit of a quick tease. There's also going to be a Death Stranding related video coming up.
There is.
Hopefully by the end of this week. I'm very excited about this one.
Me too.
Yes. But yeah, cool. Okay, so you've finished Death Stranding 1, you've moved on to Death Stranding 2. I feel like throughout the year, we should take note of how many games we complete, and then at the end of the year, we do a recap show where we talk about the games that we completed.
I like that idea. I completed one game.
I completed one game as Death Stranding 1, and then I restarted it because I loved it so much. Cool. But is there any other games that you've been playing, or has it just been like hyper focused on that?
No, I've been probably most hyperly focused on Death Stranding 2, and to be honest, the game looks phenomenal. Graphically, I'm just like, dude, this game's pretty.
Can you notice, like, is it a big leap? Because I thought the first one looked amazing as it was.
Oh, it's a big leap. It's funny, there's this internet photo that's going around as a meme. Where it's like it's got Norman Reedus and it's like him as characters like the last 3 generations, because there was a Walking Dead game that came out like on the 360.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
There was PT, there was Death Stranding 1 and Death Stranding 2, and you can really see how much graphically the industry has changed to what it is now, because he looks more like Norman every time.
Yeah, I've been seeing some of the cutscenes, and like the intro area where he's like walking around with a baby or something like that. And I've been like seeing some photo mode stuff as well, and just how I can't put my finger on it. It's just how lifelike everything looks. Like the movement looks so fucking good.
It's insane.
The texture of the skin and the hair follicles, like everything just looks fucking unreal.
Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised how good it looks like, honestly, for a console game. Especially base PS5 players are saying it's amazing on the base PS5. Yeah. It's just gorgeous.
I can't believe we're at this point in gaming, honestly. I can't, in my mind's eye, we gotta stop. we gotta let that one go. But I just think, I don't know how much better it can get, but I mean, I'm sure I've thought that it'll probably heaps of times before. Yeah.
It always gets better.
It's almost like, I feel like this could be a whole other topic in general, but I feel like we're at the point where more and more money is getting invested in making games look only slightly better, or like more and more money is going into hardware of, say, like the PS5 Pro and like all this shit that's built into it, and it's just like the top 10% difference in performance or whatever.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. You are an Xbox.
Sorry, that was such an Xbox question of me, wasn't it? Okay, well, I'll go into what I've been playing for this past week. So I finished Borderlands, the pre-sequel, finally.
Well done. I'm clapping right now.
And not for a minute have I considered going back. It was surprisingly a surprisingly hard game. Like for the first, I'd say it's probably maybe like a 20, 25 hour game. It's not as long as I was expecting it to be, but it just got really fucking hard at the end. Like
really
out of nowhere.
Okay.
Yeah, just like a couple of bosses at the end. I was like, holy fuck.
That's some poor game design right there.
Yeah, just constantly getting slammed. And I found that with Borderlands, usually the difficulty curve is quite good, because there's usually enough quests available to help you like level up and grind up as you're progressing through the story. But yeah, I just found with this game in particular, I was just like, holy fuck, this is insane. Like it was just instantly noticeable.
Yeah. I hate when
so after like banging my head against the wall, I finally finished it. Started kind of playing Borderlands 2 because like that's probably the one I'm most nostalgic for because I played a fuck ton of that when that first came out in the 360.
Yeah.
So started playing a bit of that, but I really want to try and get into Red Dead, but I'm having such a hard time. Like it's the same thing that I said last week. Like every time I keep playing, like it's a beautiful game. It looks incredible. And to me, it looks like a PS5 game, and it blows my mind that it was
your mind's
a last generation game. Fuck you. So we got to stop. Cool, David, down. Stop it.
I'm hacking in my mind's eye.
You're like foaming at the mouth to try and fucking, I'm going to get in my weekly reference.
People need to know I'm cool.
No, I don't know what it is, man. Like the story, the acting, everything about it is gorgeous and I want to enjoy the world, but I can't fucking stand how slow you are. Like moving feels like you're underwater. Like just running, you're like super fucking slow. Like it feels like all I'm doing is playing. The gameplay is me just trying to get from one cutscene to the next cutscene. Like that's all it feels like I'm doing. And to me, that's just not fun. I just got out of the snow area. I'd say that I'm probably still within the first 4 to 5 hours of the game, but I play it for like 30 minutes at a time and I'm just like, I'm just bored. I'd much prefer to play something that's just instantly more appealing or enjoyable. And I keep hearing it's amazing and like it gets really good apparently, but I'm just finding it fucking hard, man.
No, dude, that's fair. That's what a lot of people share those complaints when it first came down. I know what you're talking about. I understand how it does feel to control Arthur. He definitely feels very sluggish and tankish, but you know, it was easy for me to overlook it because I just lost myself in that game. Yeah,
I wonder if it's because I'm playing it. It's like a truly immersive experience and something that like I'm sure that when it first came out, people were like, ooh, like, you know, just this game looks so amazing. But like, I'm looking at it now, I'm like, this looks like just kind of like a normal game compared to other games that are released today, which is obviously a testament to how amazing that game was when it first came out.
Rockstar,
but
man.
I don't have that sense of awe and wonder when playing it. I'm just like, oh yeah, whatever. And then it's just like, I don't want to go through this like 20-second little cinematic cutscene of me hopping off a cart just to fucking rescue some guy's stray horse. Like, every time I do something and try and interact with something, there's always like a cutscene, and it just feels like it just takes up time, and it's just like it's just a cutscene simulator game. Like that's just kind of all it feels like to me at the moment.
Yeah.
The other thing, and this, I think I'm going to attribute this to the fact that I don't know the controls fully, but
here we go.
I'm just not a fan of the controls either. Like, I feel like there is so many different buttons for like the same type of movement, and I feel like it's not refined. Like I remember there was like the train heist mission at the start, and to like leap across or leap down from like some of the carriages, you can either like you can keep holding X, you can press square, but then like I got to the end of the train carriage and to the engine room or whatever, and to climb up, I needed to hold triangle.
Yeah.
And I was just like, why are there 3 different buttons to do like the same thing?
Yeah.
And I just felt like it's I don't know, I don't get it. Like it feels like it's not that the controls are too complicated for me or anything. It's more just it just doesn't feel like it makes sense. That's all.
Yeah, no, look, that's totally fair. And look, same complaints a lot of people had when this first came out. So don't feel like you're going crazy in your mind's eye. It's a lot of feedback, especially like trying to go back to play it now. I do feel like that sluggishness, and I hope in GTA 5, it's not GTA 6, sorry, that they do address and make it not like that.
Well, I feel like GTA doesn't suffer from that as much. I feel like this is very much a Red Dead thing. But my mission for myself between now and next week when we have a next conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be possible for me to finish the game between now and the end. Like,
Probably
it doesn't strike me as something that's like a traditional RPG where like you're leveling up shit. So I don't feel like I'm going to really be doing a lot of side quest stuff or trying to grind stuff out. The only thing that is kind of intriguing to me is the idea of trying to level up your camp. That sounds kind of fun to me, and I need to explore that more. But my goal is to take a break from Borderlands and just focus on Red Dead and just try and see if I can push through long enough until I change my mind on it, basically. But so far, I'm just not loving it.
Yeah, dude, that's totally fair and valid, and I hope that you do get some enjoyment out of it because like it's a really beautiful game. Like the story's amazing, and I love that game. It's one of my favorite. Arthur Morgan is probably like my favorite protagonist of all time. Yeah,
I mean he's got like this. He's got a charm, and I just can't put my finger on it. Like you just want to hear him talk. And you always want to hear his perspective or like what he has to say to other people.
Hell yes.
He acts. He doesn't talk the talk, so to speak. He's a man of action, and I really like that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's qualities that I do really like about the game. Don't get me wrong. Like the stories, the cutscenes, the graphics, the setting. It's all beautiful, but I just want to enjoy the game.
You will hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah. Well, I think that probably concludes this week's episode. We're going to a little bit of a peek behind the curtain. We're trying to record the audio a little bit different this time, so hopefully the quality is going to be, well, hopefully it's better, but it's probably going to be slightly different.
Oh, if not, I'll cry.
And yeah, I will too, because I'm the one editing it. But I think, I know I said that I'm interested in doing this last week, but I'm really hoping that this week we can try and get the audio podcast format sorted. I just need to work on the artwork for the podcast itself, and then hopefully we can start hosting it on different platforms. So we'll start linking that below in the description. And I think that's pretty much it from us this week. Like I said, stay tuned for a couple of more videos from us this week as well. Recently, we've been mainly just focusing on the podcast discussion form of content, but we're going to be going back to the video essays or start focusing on them a lot more because, I don't know, they're just a really creative way of just expressing what we think about games or certain perspectives or, I just think that that'd be really cool. Anything else from you, David, before we sign off?
No, not at all. Stay in school and don't do drugs.
I don't think I can top that. So I'll see you guys next week.